What's going on, YouTube family, and welcome back to the channel. So many of us, we struggle with feeling like we're running out of time. I know for the longest I've battled this and I've dealt with this feeling that I'm behind where I should be. And I think a lot of it comes from watching everybody else, keeping up with old friends, and not even really keeping up with them, but like looking at their social media feeds. I actually have one classmate who I went to school with, and in my position, I actually have the same position as him. However, it's in a different industry. So in his position, he gets to run an organization, but he gets to run an organization for the NBA. And for me to see something like that, it, to be honest, not envious of him, not jealous of him, but it made me actually feel bad. It made me feel like, man, what am I doing with myself? And like I said, I have the same type of position, but just in a different industry. It's not in the NBA, it's in supply chain logistics. Um, I get to lead a full operation for the company I work for. But because the prestige that comes with, or the thought, or the image that comes with working for the NBA, it made me feel bad for a little while. For a few days, I was actually, I'm not going to say depressed, but I was kicking myself around like, man, Tyrone, you gotta get busy. You gotta get to work. You gotta start grinding harder. And with me doing that, I started to regret a lot of decisions that I've made in life, not knowing and I know, but not, or kind of just discrediting what I've already done in life. I've been able to accomplish something that no one in my family's ever been able to accomplish. I've been able to accomplish stuff that a lot of others haven't been able to accomplish. But watching somebody else, it actually had me regretting my own life, and it had me feeling like I'm running out of time and I'm behind. And I think that's what a lot of us, we get caught up doing. We get caught up watching other people. We get caught up or hyper focused on, I'm running out of time. There's all these young people all over social media, or there's just other people in general. It doesn't even have to be young people, but you have all these different people all over social media and all over the world who are doing better than you. My advice for you is to not focus on other people. My advice is to hyper focus on yourself. Get hyper focused on you so that you can position yourself to do better than what you're doing today. You can do better than what you did yesterday. So my advice would be to hyper focus on yourself and stop worrying about other people, right? Don't get caught up in your age. And I'll be honest, I struggle with that. I seriously struggle with my age, and it's not like I'm super old, but I struggle with, I don't want to reap these different benefits or have these certain luxuries when I'm all old. So I struggle with my age. And, I was listening to a podcast, a live stream actually, I think yesterday or the day before, and the individual was talking about how individuals who, they worry about their age and they get hyper focused on their age, and they're chasing the money and trying to get the money because they feel like they're running out of time. Those are the individuals that the money is typically running from them. All right. What I mean by that is, when you're only focused on the money, you're not focused on what the real problem is. And I think that's what I'm learning to have to focus on, and I think that's what we all should learn to focus on. Focus on the problem and not the money. Focus on fixing problems for other people. I think if you can figure out a problem for either a small group of individuals who have a lot of money or who are very successful and willing to pay a high price for this problem you solve for them, or a large amount of people, and it doesn't have to be so high in price, but regardless, you're focusing on a problem versus focusing on the money. When you start focusing on problems and not the money, you'll stop focusing even on your age. You'll stop focusing on time is running out, because you'll be so hyper focused on fixing things for other people that you'll start navigating life better. You'll start navigating priorities better. You'll get to the point where the money starts basically just falling into your lap because you're helping people. For me, and that's like my number one, that's my ultimate goal. My ultimate goal is to just help people. At my job, certain individuals get upset because they feel like, man, Tyrone, you can't help everybody. And I'm learning that I can't help everybody. But I'm that person who I want to try to help everybody. I want to try to find the good in everybody, right? Everybody's been through something. Everybody understands life. Life has hit everyone. So I believe in giving people second, third, even fourth chances. All right. Depending on the circumstance and the situation, I believe everybody deserves another chance. And I think that's where, for me, I'm just so focused on helping people to where that's what I want to do, is help people. And if I start focusing more on helping people and solving problems for people, then I won't have to worry about time or money or just how's my outcome going to be. So I think that's something that we all have to get to the point where we stop focusing on our age and feeling like time is running out. Honestly, the best way I can put it is, if you're still alive today, then you're not too late. There's still time. All right? Let me say that again. If you're still alive today, you're not too late. You'll be too late when you run out of time, when you're not alive. That's when you've ran out of time, is when you're no longer alive. So if you still have blood running through your veins, if you still have the articulation of speech, if you still have your limbs operating, if God woke you up today, then you're not out of time. There's still time. You're not too late because you're still alive, right? Shout out to, there's a YouTube channel I watch and I follow them on IG, Instagram, School of Hard Knocks. Shout out to School of Hard Knocks. School of Hard Knocks is one of the best social media platforms for me, at least. And I think it's a growing, I believe they blew up like overnight. I think everyone should take the opportunity to tune in and check out School of Hard Knocks. And then free promo, whatever. But the one thing that has encouraged me from watching School of Hard Knocks is that you see so many people who didn't come from money, right? As the individuals walking up, interviewing different people who they look like they're successful, or they're getting out fancy cars, or they're walking out of corporate buildings, or they're coming out of their mansions. He's asking them questions, and the questions tend to be, did you come from money? And I'll be honest, I don't know how many episodes he has, but I know there's hundreds. I've never heard one episode or listened to one episode where an individual said, I came from money. Most of the times it's individuals saying, I was dirt broke, or I came from a middle class family. So it's the individuals that are dirt broke, coming from middle class families, that are becoming millionaires. And something else that's crazy with it is a lot of them, they didn't get millions. Some of them got millions in their 20s. Some of them got millions in their 30s. But a lot of them, and this is what's encouraging to me, and I'm not in my 40s yet, but a lot of them, they didn't get millions until they were hit their 40s. They didn't become a millionaire until 40 something, 40, 47, 50s. I believe I was listening to one episode, a lady became a millionaire when she was 52 or 51, 52. And now she's worth multiple millions, tens of millions. And she didn't get her first million until she was like 50 something years old. So that's encouraging for me to see individuals who are still chasing after this vision or this joy of freedom and not giving up on that dream of becoming a millionaire to provide for a better life for you and your family. All right. And the one thing that I believe these individuals stopped doing was worrying about everybody else. They got hyper focused on what they were doing. They didn't worry about their friends, their buddies. They didn't worry about everybody else on social media. They worried about a problem. They fixed the problem, and then they focused on them. They focused on their education. And their education I'm not saying their education has always been the traditional college. A lot of people on the show didn't go to college, but they paid for mentorships. So a lot of these individuals who they are now millionaires, they stopped focusing on everybody else and they focused on themselves. They didn't give up, regardless of how older they were getting. Something else that the individuals or that they brought up on the show, and what's encouraging to me, is there are so many millionaires that the individual has interviewed who work 9 to 5s. Now, I will say that it's not your traditional 9 to 5. I'm not saying that it's a person who works at a cash register. But what I'm saying is these individuals started off at a low level 9 to 5, promoted up, furthered their education, improved their skills, and then got to the C-suite, vice president of whatever. They started at a bottom level and they continued to work, and now they're at the C-suite. When I say C-suite, I'm talking about whenever you hit that chief title, right? It's not just CEO, not just your chief executive officer, but you have your CFO, which is a chief financial officer, CHO, chief human resources officer, chief technical officer. Like, there's so many, chief supply chain officer. There's multiple levels at the C-suite. It's not just CEO, right? Chief operating officer. So there's a lot of individuals who they got their millions by working 9 to 5s. I actually have one of my old bosses, one of my mentors, the old boss of mine. He actually left the company to go to another company. And he was sharing with me how going to the new company, the amount of stock options, and he just went to the company as a vice president. He didn't go as a chief or anything like that. He left our company as a vice president and went to this new company as a vice president. And when he left, the amount of stock options that the company gave him that were going to vest when this company goes public, I believe it was around $4 to $5 million. So overnight, he becomes a millionaire, right? And for some people, it's like, oh, well, $4 to $5 million, that's a lot of money. But for some people, it's like, oh, it's just $4 to $5 million. Yeah, but $4 to $5 million, when you have that type of resources, that type of financial resources, that type of financial resources can create other financial resources, right? There's the saying, let your money work for you. It's a difference if you invest $100 into a savings account and $1 million into a savings account. You're going to get a way higher return. There's a difference when you invest $100 into the stock market and $1 million into the stock market. So you may be looking or thinking like, oh, he's going as a VP and it's only $4 to $5 million, but he can take a huge chunk of that money and invest it, and that money will make him more money. So there's just not the traditional way of becoming a millionaire to be an entrepreneur. It's my point. You can literally become a millionaire by working a 9 to 5, by starting at a lower level, working your way up, and just grinding. With that being said, that's where you have to change your mindset. All right. Everybody always talks about mindset. It always starts with mindset. And for me, it does start with mindset, but I'm not going to beat a dead horse about mindset. But what I will tell you with mindset, you have to make a change. All right. Your 9 to 5, the place you work for your 9 to 5, that's just to pay your bills. Your 9 to 5 is just the ship, the car, the vehicle to ensure that you are paying your bills currently. That's all your 9 to 5 is. Now, if you have a high paying 9 to 5, then it might add some additional resources. However, your 5 to 9, right? And I'm sure everybody's heard this. Your 5 to 9 is where you really got to put that time in. So ask yourself, yeah, and I get it. I'm perfect example, prime example. My 9 to 5, I'll be honest, I rarely do physical labor anymore on my 9 to 5. Now, there's times where I want to help my team and I'm that boss, I'm that leader. I don't even call myself a boss. I don't know why I just said that. Like, I tell my team, don't even call me sir. But I'm that leader who I want to be out there in the trenches with my team. I want to show them that I'm not willing to ask you to do something that I wouldn't do myself. So sometimes from time to time, I'll go out there and get in the trenches with my team. But realistically, that's not my job anymore. So it's a rarity that I'm actually doing physical work. But I will tell you that my job is mentally draining. And I'll be honest, I never used to think this. I never used to know it. I never would say it. When I was a team member, I'd be like, oh, my boss, he got the greatest job in the world. He's got the best job. The guy that runs the place, he got the best job in the world. When I was a team member, it was easier for me to leave work and then go to the gym, go lift weights, go work out, go play basketball. Going into leadership, it's actually way tougher because you're mentally drained. I promise you, I would prefer to be more physically drained daily than mentally drained. I would prefer 100 times over to be more physically drained than mentally drained. But with that, it's difficult when you're mentally drained and you've been at this 9 to 5 all day long, and then you got to come home or go to your store, your shed, your shop, wherever, and work on your 5 to 9. But I promise you, it's well worth it. Working on your 5 to 9 is way more worth it. If you give all that energy and time and effort to your 9 to 5, you got to start giving that energy and effort to your 5 to 9 too. Because your 5 to 9 is what's going to build your financial freedom. Your 5 to 9 is what's going to build that empire. Your 5 to 9 is what's going to put you and position you to where you're not only just taking care of your immediate family, but you're able to help your whole family. You're able to help your community. You're able to help your network. You're able to help your church. You're able to help the poor, the homeless, the sick, the widows. So my advice, you got to figure out how to manage your time, and you got to figure out how to get that strength and get that energy to put into your 5 to 9. Because I promise you, it's going to be well worth it. Your 5 to 9 is what's going to help you create the freedom that you want. Literally, I love my job. However, I want freedom. I want the freedom to pick up my son from school daily, take him to school daily. I want that freedom. So don't get caught up on your age. Don't get caught up on time. Because if you're still alive, you're not too late. If you still have air in your lungs, if you still are able to see, if you're still able to breathe, you are not too late. You got all the time in the world. But use your time wisely. Go after it. Go after the purpose. I don't even want to say the word dream, right? I'm at the point where, like, with my dreams, giving my dreams over to God. I want to walk in my purpose. So, yeah. Stop worrying about time. Stop worrying about your age. Focus on your purpose. Focus on helping people. Focus on fixing and solving problems. Focus on your 5 to 9. All right? With that being said, definitely appreciate all you tuning in. Hopefully you took some golden nuggets from this. Hopefully it was enough information for you. I don't know if you've subscribed to the channel. If you haven't, definitely make sure you subscribe to the channel. Definitely leave a like. It definitely goes a long way. And leave a comment. Definitely want to hear from my people. All right, with that being said, talk to you later.